Today I'm going to be putting in aluminum pieces in my windows of the RV. They're going to cover about a third or less of the window. It is to hide the top of the counter as it comes across these windows. So here I've used a contour tool to get the contour of the corner of the window, and I'm going to trace it onto an extra Amazon box I had laying around, and I'm going to create a template. So here I'm using the contour tool on the other side of the window to get the contour there. Once I have it, I will lock it in. There's a locking mechanism. You're going to see me push that little tab down and it will lock all the little pins in place, and it will create the contour of the window. And I'm going to trace it out, and I'm going to cut the other side now. So we're going to cut this out. And that is my dog drinking water, if you can hear it in the back. And we're going to just continue cutting this out. We're going to pop the template out, and we're going to see how it fits. Voila, perfect fit. And then we are going to go ahead and do the other side. So I've already traced that other side, and we're going to cut it out just as we did the other. And perfection. So now we're going to overlap the two, and I'm going to draw a line, and then I'm going to cut off the excess cardboard, and I'm going to tape the two together with blue painter's tape, and we're going to check the fit. It should fit perfect. And yes, it does. The only thing we'll have to do is trim the top in a minute. Let me just tape these together. I'll also put some pencil marks in case the tape gets a little loose. I'll put some pencil marks on the cardboard itself. So here we're measuring, I believe it was 4 inches up. And then we are going to use the square to get a straight edge. And we're going to cut the top off at the 4-inch mark with a knife. And there she is. And let's check the fit. Fantastic. Perfect fit. So we're going to use that as a template, and we're going to move on to the other window, and we're just going to repeat the process. So here I am using the contour tool on the left side of the window. We're going to lock it in, and we have the contour of the corner. And basically, I'm going to repeat the process we just did for the smaller window here. I've already traced it. So here I'm lining it up with a square, putting the traced part in the corner, and I'm going to extend it up for the vertical part of the window. I'm going to flip the square around, put the long piece down, and I'm going to put the horizontal bottom piece of the window here. Just trace it out. And I'm going to start cutting. We've got the outline of the window right here. So we're going to cut. Oh, this is the part where I messed up, and I filmed it in slow motion. I have no idea how I did that. So I thought it'd be pretty funny just to leave it there. And so I am making the cuts for the window. I like to save these cardboard boxes. They come in handy for just such purposes. And perfect fit. So we want to do the other side now. So I've already traced it. I didn't film that part, but I think you get the idea. We used the contour tool to get the contour, and I've traced it here. So I cut it out and check the other side, and perfect fit. And we are going to follow the same process as on the other side. I am going to overlap the two. I am taping them together here. And this one was 9 inches, so we're going 9 inches up from the bottom of the window. And we're going to strike a line with the square. And then we are going to cut it out. Perfect fit. The counter will go right across. I set this counter. It should come and maybe just touch here, but then that would mean things would easily splash up into that window. So I'm gonna have a little piece of aluminum there, and I'm gonna have a piece of aluminum here. That'll block 1/3 of the window, but two things. When we're eating on the counter, it's gonna be harder to spill stuff behind the counter. And because that counter is going to come across the old top of the countertop and across here. And it would look weird from the outside. All they're going to see now is when you open the window, they will see this half piece of aluminum. Anyway, I'm going to get the aluminum pieces on here and we'll be good to go. Welcome to a local legend in our area, Star Supply in Youngstown, Ohio. A quirky place that gets, they buy bargains, or I think the guy buys whatever he finds cheap and puts it on sale. And a lot of industrial stuff, windows, doors, just all kind of eclectic stuff. This was a guitar that was displayed at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's hanging up in his store. He has a really cool way of writing too on all his signs. And here, I don't know what that is, a Yeti. And he's got a robot made of vacuum cleaner parts. Here's all kind of plastic sheeting you can buy, very inexpensive. I was considering at first, when I saw this, using this instead of the aluminum, but I decided to stay with the aluminum. It's all kind of road signs. I took my aluminum sheet, 4x8. They allowed me just to buy what I had wanted cut off. So he's cutting it off for me here in this break. Saved me a lot of work. So he cut the size I needed. I just have to round off the corners. Really cool place. You can see the forklift painted. And they use industrial things to make art throughout the place. And here he's cutting my aluminum, which is really, really a cool service that they do. When you pick out sheets of either aluminum at their place or sheets of steel, which they also have. So here's a bunch of Youngstown history. So I imagine these they would put in like a foundry. They would put in sand and make molds for these parts. They create these wooden parts and then they put them in sand, and then they would make patterns that they can put steel, form steel or some type of metal for these parts. An old exercise bike he has hanging up. Just a really unique, cool place. These things are huge. They're a lot bigger than they look on camera here. And they're really pieces of history and really kind of pieces of art. I forgot the name of the artist that used to do this back in the 80s, 70s, 80s, but they made their garage door look like that kind of artist that is famous for that type of look. Those are all countertops. Here's chairs. Guy has a bit of everything. There's just some tool Really cool place. If you ever get a chance, it's Star Supply in Youngstown, Ohio. Here are just some random things. Here's some gym locker benches. I could see these used in a house. Just really neat. And as we come down the aisle, there's an office chair. There is a restaurant booth chair. There's restaurant table stands. Just a little bit of everything. But if you're ever in the area, stop in. It's just a really cool, unique place to see. There's tractor tires, wheelbarrow tires. Here's coffee bags. Whoever thought of selling coffee bags, but pretty cool. I can imagine maybe people would sew them into bags or pillows, or I have no idea. There's some electric motors that they've all tested for sale. I don't know what these are. These are some stuffed gorillas hanging upside down on the ceiling. Here's a practice bomb from the military. It says right there it was used in a movie when they were in town. The movie company rented this bomb for a Tim Robbins movie, and they painted it white. They painted it green, and now it's repainted back to its original art-looking type colors. And here's more molds. Here's their shopping carts. And here's one they claim is shrunk because someone left it out in the parking lot. Maybe it got rained on and shrank. Just showing you the outside of Banner, not Banner. Banner is a plumbing store down the street. This is Star Supply. And lastly, we'll get a look at the Pinto with a slingshot on top. I have no idea what this means. I've seen it 100 times, but still have no idea what it is. So I'm back from Star Supply, and here's my aluminum. And I'm going to line up the templates on the aluminum. And I am just going to trace what I need to cut out. And I should have told him to cut this. It would have made it much easier. But all I have to do is cut this piece off in this corner. And this corner. So I'm marking with this with a Sharpie. And I will cut on the inside of the mark. And the same with the other side. And here's the little guy, the little window. Here are my two pieces, ready to be cut. That's the little one for the kitchen window, and here's the big one for the other window. All right, so stay tuned for part 2.